Einstein's personal opinions, which deviate from Islamic precepts, are presented in this video. Islam emphasizes that the first obligation is to believe in the Quran and that God is one and has no partners. One of the 20th century's brightest minds, Albert Einstein, left behind a legacy that changed not only the field of physics, but also how people view the cosmos, life, and the forces that control it. One of the numerous important documents he left behind is notable not for its scientific discoveries, but rather for its profound philosophical analysis of religion, life, and the universe. The Letter on God, as it is called, is more than just a scientific statement. It is a moving examination of the underlying principles governing the cosmos and the place of divinity in his philosophy. Einstein addressed the age-old query of whether the cosmos is governed by a divine force in this letter, which he wrote in 1954, at the end of his life. In addition to the profound intellectual consideration that went into it, this letter is particularly potent because it provides a bridge between science and religion, a topic that was rarely openly discussed during Einstein's lifetime. I recommend that you preserve this message through the centuries and decades, he said, expressing his serious opinions on the matter. Maintain this knowledge until people everywhere have advanced to a point in their social, cultural, and scientific development where they can comprehend and assimilate the information provided here. Because of its timing, the price it brought at auction, and its substance, Einstein's letter has become a significant historical artifact. The letter's starting price of $1.5 million was greatly exceeded when it sold for an incredible $3 million in late 2018. Its worth and mystery are only increased by the fact that it was kept in a private collection for almost 50 years prior to being put up for auction. However, why did this letter fetch such a high price when it contained no revolutionary findings or scientific equations? How could a piece of writing so basic have such a profound cultural and intellectual impact? What lessons and insights did Einstein impart in this letter that still hold people's attention today? We will investigate these issues over the course of the next few minutes, looking at what Einstein actually meant and the reasons his ideas are still applicable today. This letter, which was written by Albert Einstein barely a year before he passed away, is perhaps one of the most personal manifestations of his philosophical beliefs. His lifelong quest for answers culminated in his profound doubts about religious doctrine and his endeavor to make sense of the universe's mysteries in light of human knowledge. A philosopher named Eric Gutkind, the recipient of the letter, wrote a book titled Choose Life, which analyzed Bible and Old Testament passages from a scientific standpoint. In addition to providing a critical examination of the relationship between religion and science, Einstein's letter was a reply to the book's thesis. Fundamentally, the letter presents Einstein's nuanced views on God and religion. In his well-known words, "Science without the foundation of religion begins to leave its mark, while religion becomes blind without the light of science." The conflict Einstein experienced between these two universes is captured in this quotation. It implies that, in Einstein's view, religion and science were not antagonistic, but rather dependent upon one another in order to coexist and exchange knowledge. But he was certain that religion turns into superstition when it isn't supported by logical scientific investigation. In a similar vein, he cautioned that science devoid of moral and ethical foundations could steer humanity in the wrong direction. Einstein argues in this extraordinary letter that conventional ideas of God and religion, especially those predicated on anthropomorphic representations of a divine entity, are out of date and unduly simplistic. He thought that the idea of a personal God, as it is presented in many faiths, was a projection of human traits onto the unknown and a reflection of human anxieties and insecurities. According to Einstein, the concept of a God who keeps watch over humanity and judges and intervenes in our lives is irrational and foolish. Rather, Einstein had a more abstract conception of God. He held that the universe is governed by a cosmic force, an impersonal, all-pervading force that controls everything from atom activity to star motion. He maintained that only logical reasoning and scientific investigation could fully comprehend this energy, not religious dogma or unquestioning faith. Einstein's analogy between the intricacy of the cosmos and the finite comprehension of humans is among his most profound remarks regarding God. He compared the comprehension of the universe to a child's attempt to comprehend a complicated mechanism. Humans are still in the early stages of understanding the enormous and complex workings of the world, much like a kid cannot fully comprehend how an automobile engine operates. Even if we may see harmony and order in the natural world, our minds are yet immature enough to fully comprehend the underlying forces at work. Einstein also voiced his disbelief in traditional religious doctrines, especially those that viewed God as a human-like being guarding humanity. He argued that the principles governing the universe were considerably more complicated and logical than the basic notions put out by many religious traditions, and he rejected this viewpoint as an oversimplification of the divine. He believed that the Bible, while an important cultural and historical document, was a collection of myths and stories that, while significant in their own right, had little to offer in terms of scientific understanding. Despite his reservations about conventional religion, Einstein never abandoned the idea of a higher force totally. He merely thought that this force was an abstract cosmic intelligence that pervades the universe rather than the personal God of religious tradition. According to Einstein, the universe was regulated by logical and cohesive laws that humans were only now starting to comprehend, rather than being random or chaotic. This leads us to one of Einstein's most significant theories, that love is the primary force in the cosmos. Einstein wrote to his daughter, Lieserl Einstein, who tragically died young, in one of his less well-known letters. He described love as the most potent force in the cosmos in this intensely personal message, one that can transcend all other forces and direct human conduct. According to Einstein, love is a basic cosmic force that controls the behavior of all living things, from the tiniest particles to the greatest galaxies. According to Einstein, love was a force that united all people and transcended the individual. He thought that love may bring people closer to realizing the meaning of life by opposing the destructive powers of selfishness, rage, and greed. He maintained that the force of love had the capacity to mend the world, bring people from different countries and cultures together, and bring peace back to a planet that was in disarray. He believed that the secret to comprehending the universe and releasing the potential for human advancement was love. For Einstein, the concept of love as a cosmic force was a practical and pressing summons to action, rather than merely a sentimental or philosophical one. He felt that humanity was on the verge of a worldwide catastrophe, and that the only way we could hope to overcome the problems of inequity, destruction, and conflict was to embrace love, compassion, and understanding. In this way, Einstein's message was a call for a global revolution, one that was a revolution of the heart rather than of politics or philosophy. But Einstein was a realist as well. He was aware that humanity was not yet prepared to accept this message in its entirety. He saw that it would take generations for humans to mature and gain enough understanding to fully grasp the ramifications of his message. However, he continued to hold out hope that love would eventually be acknowledged as the essential element that unites all people. To sum up, the letter on God is a potent illustration of Einstein's spiritual and intellectual legacy. It displays his profound understanding of philosophy, his mistrust of conventional religion, and his conviction that the cosmos is governed by a cosmic, logical force. It is more than simply a letter. It is a meaningful message to future generations, one that pushes us to accept love as the ultimate compass in our lives, to question the nature of reality, and to think critically about the world around us. In addition to its scientific value, Einstein's letter is still regarded as a landmark because of the important moral and philosophical issues it poses. It pushes us to reevaluate how we view religion, science, and the universe, and to look for more profound truths that go beyond what we already know. Einstein's ideas continue to be a beacon of hope as we investigate the secrets of the cosmos, inspiring us to pursue knowledge, insight, and most importantly, love. Islam holds that the Quran is the last source of knowledge and direction, and that God is one and unpartnerable. Even if Einstein expressed his own opinions, they are incompatible with Islamic principles. How do you feel about this contrast? Post in the comments section below. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow us for more content that examines important issues from a truth-based perspective.